Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Texans Probe today with Drew and myself. Today, we're going to just kind of go through recap of the Jacksonville game. More laid back episode from last time when we were kind of we were upset about the Minnesota game, but this one is more. There were some mistakes in this game. Obviously, probably shouldn't have been as close as it was, but there was also a lot of good things that I saw. I thought there was improvement in this game in certain areas on the offensive side and defensive side. So I think we're going to start. We'll go through the film of the game-winning drive. We'll go through some of the mistakes that the offense maybe had. It shouldn't have been as close. I want to talk about Steven Sims because that was maybe the most frustrating I've ever seen from a returner. Pick of a 15-yard and sportsmanlike conduct and
Yeah.
and fumbled a punt. But how you feeling, Drew?
I feel like Jaguars fans could be saying the same thing though, in terms of like,
Yeah.
well, could have easily won that game.
Hmm.
Though obviously, you do mention the muffed punt and the penalties. So a lot of the things were, I think I saw someone say, if the Texans lose this game, they're not losing to the Jaguars, they lost to themselves.
Yeah.
And that's really what it was kind of getting to. Like a good example of that as well, on the Tank Bigsby long run, the gap was wide open. The gap was just absolutely wide open. The Jaguars didn't do anything special. My grandma could have ran through that hole. So Tank Bigsby, yeah, it's not on Bigsby, it's not on the play callers. That's on the Texans. The muff punt, that's on the Texans. The penalties, that's on the Texans. So again, the Jaguars didn't do anything special. But CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, they looked really, really good. And that's ultimately the reason, and we'll go over it in the game winning drive, on why the Texans won the game.
Yep. Um, I've talked about it too. I think really the guys that have stood out, obviously Stroud and Nico, but I think Diggs has played well too in his role. I thought he's been really good. And I talked about it today too, but I don't think Cam Akers is an NFL running back. Just watching him, like I'm not all that confident in Cam Akers as I was coming in. I think having Mixon and Pierce back will be pretty big because I think they're both better than Akers from what I've seen.
I
Um,
agree, but I would feel like if you're just going to cherry pick plays, you can also cherry pick the 15-yard run that he had,
yeah,
where he starts to the right, he stacks up a little bit, and then he's just able to have a massive, super wide jump cut that, like, you don't see very often from NFL running backs.
yeah, yeah,
So there's like,
yeah.
I see what you mean. And like, of
It's just a
course,
lot of.
the speed is a
Mhm.
little concerning. And he did get caught from behind. He's gotten caught from behind in multiple games this year.
Mhm.
That is a common theme. And I see what you mean about JJ Taylor. I feel like I remember you talking about him.
I did,
He's
yeah,
very twitchy. He's the
yeah,
twitchiest running back the Texans have had. I mean, I guess since Duke Johnson, but JJ
yeah.
Taylor's faster than Duke Johnson, and
Yeah, he
so
was one of my
I'm
guys in camp
yeah.
and preseason that I talked about a lot, and I was glad to see him get a little bit of carry because I do think there's a role that he can play where he can be pretty good. Because the only issue that I have with Cam Akers is I think he's okay in a role, but when you have to have him take a mass amount of carries, there's too much east west. Like you want, especially if you're running 1st and 10, you kind of want the guy to get more downhill. He's always looking east west instead of
Yeah, there
going north
was
south.
two plays where it was a zone
Yeah,
or a lead play, and he had tunnel vision on both of those plays. So it was like kind of the opposite of Damian Pierce, where Damian Pierce is going to get downhill, and he's
yeah,
just going to
oh
take
yeah.
what's there. But like Cam Akers is like just thinking, oh, this was where the play is designed to go to the left, so I'm going to go to the left. But actually, buddy, if you just cut back and go to the middle, you get 10 yards. And also, JJ Taylor could easily have had a rushing touchdown too, but and so I think I agree in terms of the Mixon coming back, the Pierce coming back, the NFL experience, the just the kind of veteran that Mixon is. You're going to get just a little bit more yardage.
Yeah.
But overall, I think we still need a little bit more from the offensive line. Just
Oh,
a
I
couple
agree.
of things.
Oh, I agree.
It's getting like frustrating and cringy to watch at
Oh
this
yeah, I
point.
completely agree. I think we talked about Kenyon Green. I've never really been a Kenyon Green believer, but I thought he looked good early in the season. He's kind of reverted backwards.
Yeah,
Um, he looks
so,
very similar to how he did in his rookie year. We talked about it in the Hall of Fame game, like at the very very first episode. We talked about how an issue he had in his rookie year was he ducked his head too much, and he's doing it
Yeah.
again. He ducks his head and he gets pushed backwards, which and it's happening in the run game too. He's not run blocking very well either. So the guard play especially leaves a lot to be desired. I think Shaq Mason hasn't been very good either. I don't think. I like Juice. I thought Juice has been pretty good. He's not perfect, but I thought Juice has played well enough. And the tackles, they got their penalty problems, but the tackles are pretty good. Um, Titus has been kind of inconsistent, but he's had good games. He's had bad games. Like I'm not too worried about Titus necessarily, and Tunsil outside of the penalties is elite at what he does. So there's it's an interesting thing, and now Tunsil didn't practice today, so we'll see if maybe Blake Fisher is starting, and
No,
that
no.
yeah that would not be good. If he starts, you would have to consider moving Titus to left tackle and then Fisher at right tackle, I think, but they probably
Because Blake
won't do
Fisher,
that.
look, he played right tackle at Notre Dame, so
Yeah,
he could just objectively be more comfortable there. But also you could see where Gregory Rousseau lines up and
yeah,
with Von Miller being out. So we'll just kind of see there. But I think Tunsil's gonna play. All right,
yeah, I do too.
too much negativity from us so far. Let's just jump
All
into the
right,
game winning drive because it
got
was
you,
about
got
as
you.
many as it gets. I think there was just one incompletion and then one like short run play. But
Yeah. It
that's
was to me it was probably the best clock execution that they've had as an offense, maybe ever on
yeah,
a drive.
I was thinking
Yeah,
that, and then the timeout, um, with like a minute 20 or whatever, it was like they're already past the 10-yard line, and then they called that timeout, and I was just a little bit, I didn't really like that. I
Mhm.
don't know.
Oh, you
We'll,
mean
we'll
the one
try
that
to
they
look
called
at
with like 30 seconds? That would be the one that they called, or was that first half? I don't remember, but they called one.
this is in the game winning drive, and we'll look at the
Okay,
plays.
got you.
But,
Okay, this
they
starts
could
at
have definitely held on to the timeouts to make sure that each play, like basically what I'm saying is they could have ran a play and then called a timeout, but they called a timeout and then ran the play.
I got
So
you. Yeah.
that's so essentially if you had ran the ball, which they weren't going to do, or the ball was completed inbounds, they could potentially ran out of time or been rushed or had to do no huddle. But
Hmm.
they took their time and took a timeout. And yeah, this was just, I mean, you could potentially dump it off to Akers here, but
Yeah.
this is where the protection really just started to look nice. Stroud multiple times in the second half had a lot of room to scramble, which is
Yeah.
probably he
Um,
had the most room all year on Sunday to scramble.
yeah. I thought just as a whole, when even the stats will say it that when you look at here, I was just going to pause it because I was wanting to say if that's a faster running back, you probably throw it to Akers, but he doesn't really break away from the linebacker. He kind of like if that was even Mixon or like you said JJ Taylor, you probably have way more room than that because he's able like he's kind of jogging the route,
And
which is
right
kind of
there, he
frustrating.
starts
But
jogging, and he could have just sprinted to the sideline.
yeah, because then Stroud could have hit him. But
That's really just kind of like a lack of confidence, honestly, if anything.
yeah. I just I'd seen a stat. So the Texans they dropped back 25 times in the second half, and they were only pressured on three. So the pass protection was significantly better in the second half than the
Very
first
much so.
half.
Very much
This,
so.
this is this is like from the other angle. I like the motion from Akers. I like the design to have him kind of run this Texas route out of motion. It's kind of a cool
Yeah,
wrinkle.
I mean, that's straight from the Shanahan scheme. You have the cheat motion right into the angle route.
Yeah. I like
Beautiful.
that we're seeing a little bit more cheat motion from the Texans than they've ran kind of these
Yeah.
last 2 weeks. You're starting to see it a little bit more, which I'm a big fan of it. So I think, and you're still seeing like that they clearly aren't 100% comfortable with it as a group because you've seen some illegal formations and stuff on it, but I like the ideas. Um, and they should get more
Yeah,
accustomed to
man.
it.
With more jet, I mean, you can also get it to Dare there. Obviously, you don't have to.
Yep. Yeah, that was one thing that, there's not a lot to be critical of Stroud just as a court. Like he's
No,
been awesome, but the only
he
thing I
was,
could say
yeah,
is you almost want to hit. He almost looks downfield too much, where he sometimes holds the ball too long instead of getting to the check down, which I'm not going to complain about because a lot of times it works. But that is one thing that I think as you see him progress and start more games, he's going to get to the check down quicker because you see, especially when you have Mixon or someone like that, or even Pierce, where you work in space, you can get to that running back. And you saw it with Wally this game, where 3rd and 18, you dump it off and he can make a guy miss and then go get a first.
Yeah,
Um,
the biggest pet peeve of the Jags film for me was easily the lack of checkdowns. Because this time, like he didn't check it down one
exactly.
time, and Tunsil ended up holding Allen because Allen had been pass
Yeah.
rushing for it had been like 5 or 6 seconds into the play, and he could have
Yeah.
easily checked it down. But so Stroud inevitably caused a penalty on his offensive line.
Yep.
And here we go, actually taking the check down. I
That's what I
want
was
to
going to say.
go back
Yeah.
a little bit. I think we do see some space for Diggs. If you can go back to that a little bit, try to see the concept. You're gonna have a little switch
Uh,
release, and then so he basically triggers on Dare because the flat defender
yeah.
is going to
He's almost big.
Diggs.
Yeah.
The Jags coverage as a whole was kind of getting taken advantage of. I think Sloak did a really
Mhm.
good job of attacking the flat defender and taking him away. Like one of the clips I just posted today was this flood concept where the flat just completely occupies the cloud defender. And now you see here the cloud defender is going back into the
Against
middle
Diggs.
away
Yeah.
from the flat. So
And then you're
it was
able
just
to
kind of
get it
messing
off.
with Jags. Clearly it was.
I was honestly when I haven't watched the play back, but I was shocked. I kind of want to see if there. I was shocked that Tunsil didn't get a penalty here for illegal hands to the face because Trayvon Walker's helmet is off. I don't know if he knocked it off or what happened, but his helmet is completely off. Or maybe it
Okay.
was um yeah, he's lucky. That is a flag. You can't do that. So he's lucky he didn't call for that. But like you said, like just getting to the check down there, and then it was first down. You pick up how many it was 7-ish, and you're ahead of the chains now.
Yeah.
It's huge.
I think that was before the 2 minute warning too. So staying in bounds was nice for sure.
This is another okay. This is another one of those cheat motions that they run with Dare. You get him out, and he kind of runs a dig ish. He's open too. You could get
The
that to Dare
important
if
part
you
about
wanted.
that is the important part about that is you're going to get a man coverage indicator, meaning you're going to be able to
Yeah,
trust Nico Collins. Nico Collins' release packages have just been so smooth lately. It's incredible. Look at that. He's been really executing well with the stack and shimmy because he's able to stack and get vertical and then burst inside. His feet have just been so smooth, and his long strides are impeccable. And he already runs a what 4.4. And he's 6'4". It's just crazy. Could obviously also maybe get more of an option route there from Dare too, or if you have a running back
yeah,
that can really
yeah.
separate. You don't get much from Dare there though. And that's just good vision by Dare.
Yep. That see
I
this is the type of run that I was kind of talking about when I called Akers not an NFL running back because on first down like this, all like to me, Akers would try to take this kind of outside and try to make something more of it when, especially on a first down play like this, when you just want to stay ahead of the chains more so on first down. At least to me, that's kind of how I approach running on first down, and that's why having Mixon is so huge because he's very good at that. But Akers is not very good at that, and that's why having at least one of Pierce or Mixon is huge because they are good at staying ahead of the chains. They're not going to take a huge loss, and so Dari does that here. He gets up field, even if it's 5 or even if it's 3. You see Akers try to make a big play happen. It's like I feel like he's so used to trying to do that because he used to be able to outrun everybody, but now he can't, and so it's kind of a
yeah.
weird. It's not really
So
like his play style doesn't
also
fit.
really good thing that he did go to the right because it looks like Tunsil's going to get beat across space there
Yep.
by Trayvon Walker. Very good run defender, Trayvon Walker. He
Yeah. So
deserves a
I
lot of
mean,
respect. He was
it,
causing havoc.
Tunsil kind of holds him here too. Like, I mean, you really could have called that. I guess they weren't looking that way, but that's 100% a hold. Um, so yeah, you could have called that, but glad he took that upfield for sure.
Game of his life. I don't know what he did in Jacksonville or wherever else he was, but I mean, it had to be the best game of his career. And
Trayvon?
also, yeah, no,
Oh
sorry,
yeah.
Dare,
Oh,
Dare.
Dar.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. I was gonna. Um, it's a good play.
So then
Who made that?
can we go back a little bit, actually?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's just good run defense. You can't really go outside because Trayvon Walker's got such great power. He's going to be able to get to the edge if he needs to. And then
Mhm.
Kenyon Green's going to get beat here. Yeah, I mean, look, his balance and initial punch and has just not been good. And so that's why you see his
Been
head going.
brutal.
He's losing balance. He's not able to keep up. The defender puts his foot in the ground and kind of bends his knee a little bit and just gets across. I mean, it's just like too a little too easy, honestly.
Yeah,
And no, I'm not saying that Kendrick Green or Jarrett Patterson can make that play. I'm not
yeah.
sure. So it just leads me to think that the Texans' offense line is going to have to be retooled.
Well, I completely agree with you. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if they need two more guards by next season. I don't think Shaq Mason should be here next season either, from what I've seen. Um, I
Still
just I
believe
don't think
Shaq
Shaq Mason's
Mason,
a,
but if it's on tape for 17 games that he's not looking good, then yeah. But
yeah.
he was so good last year. He was elite last year as pass protector, and so
Mm.
gotta keep the guy around.
Hey, they picked up a stunt. It's a miracle.
Yeah, that's just a little bit lazy by the Jaguars right there. I
Yeah,
mean, they
yeah, it
did a
is.
really
Yeah,
good job earlier in the game, kind of rubbing off Tunsil. Tunsil would pat and go and get inside Kenyon because Kenyon would have been occupying 94, but this time 94 goes early, so that's just bad timing by Jacksonville.
good pass pro by Scruggs here though. This is a pretty good job, and Kenyon. They both
Oh,
did a good
that's a
job
good
there.
rep. See, that's the type of power and balance that you need from an interior guy. That's really
Yeah,
good pad level, really good grip strength, and you see the legs going to work there too. Like that's what
yeah.
we want in Kenyon Green. But Kenyon Green I mean, he just looks like a scrappy player who it kind of for me, it makes me nervous about when I see him play.
Yeah. That and actually the rep that Scruggs has, that's on Arik Armstead, who pretty good pass rusher. So
Yeah.
it's an impressive rep for sure. I like I said, I think overall the best lineman for them or most consistent when you factor in penalties and everything has been Juice. I think Juice has done a very good job. Um, which didn't really expect to happen coming into the year for him to be your most consistent guy, but he has been, and
Right.
um, he's a big piece in that interior for sure. Like I said, at least you feel comfortable because I think center is very important. We can talk about
Let's take a look at
uh,
this play design though. I never really I mean I haven't gone to this
yeah, I
play
don't.
yet. So Jet, it's just kind of like they're just trying to protect Stroud here. I mean, look, you
I think
can't
the
only
idea
have
is
three
Diggs
routes.
on the zig.
Yeah, let's see.
He kind of just doesn't. He kind of gets jammed. Like I think the zig would be here. He gets man, but he kind of just the corner gets hands on, and then he's kind of just
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the fact that they didn't just alert to Nico because look how much space Nico Collins has on
yeah.
the sig, but look how much little space Diggs has to run the pivot. So the fact that they didn't flip the play there
I thought
is a
I
little
thought that for
concerning.
a couple of plays during this game that I thought it was weird that they didn't flip the play and they ran it to like the short side because
Look at the
I'm
levels of coverage. Look at where the 30 is standing and look at where 25 is standing. You have to flip that. I mean, that's an easy
yeah,
jam. That's not legal contact. That's legal contact as where if Nico pushes up, that's a legal contact. You're gonna have to hold him. You're not gonna be able to, first of all, you can't guard Nico Collins on that.
no,
But anyone can guard a receiver when they're 1 yards off running a pivot route. That's easy.
yeah, no, I completely agree with you. The idea is not bad, but like you said, the play has to be flipped here. There's no reason to run this to the short side, and you let the corner get hands on. It's tough to run a zig when you let the corner get hands on immediately.
I mean, what a way to end the game that would have been. Nico Collins ISO pivot route for the win. I mean, golly. And
Yeah,
honestly, you could almost throw that slant if you just look off to the left and then throw it to him. The
yeah, no,
linebacker
that
is
that could be there.
almost there.
Yeah.
But no,
And also, I did see I think Tunsil's been lazy too at some points, but I don't really necessarily blame him for this one. I saw people like blaming him for this.
that's I didn't really want to comment on that online, but I want to say now that is a great job by him. Texans had two illegal
Yeah,
offensive line
yeah,
downfield penalties all game, and does a great job because all he'd be doing is getting in Stroud's way if he runs to the left.
yeah. No, I mean it would be stupid for him to either move upfield or go left, like you said. You block the vision. Um, and honestly, you would probably like to see Stroud get rid of this more. I guess you want to waste time in this situation, so I don't. I just don't like seeing him take that type of hit. But Tunsil did the right thing here. I have no problem with the rep from Tunsil here at all. There's nothing for him to really do, and if he goes upfield, then Stroud throws it, then it's a penalty. So um, it would be stupid for him to do anything else here.
Yeah. I'm sure Diggs is mad at himself for not winning this route, but look, I mean, he's trying to run a pivot
Yeah.
against outside leverage against press coverage. If you're online trying to hate on Stephon Diggs for not winning that route, then you got problems. There's a reason why
Oh
you're on
yeah, for
Twitter and
sure.
not a wide receiver coach. So there's no
Yeah,
reason to
that's a very
mention.
tough situation for Diggs to be in. And like I said, Diggs has been very good. Um, maybe he's not putting up the statistics that some people thought. It's kind of what I expected. But also, Nico Collins is like 100 more yards than any other receiver. That's why statistics are lower for everyone else because Nico's putting up insane numbers. It's kind of just what happens.
The whole like people talking down about Diggs and tanked out, to me, it's just been quite
Yeah.
hilarious. But we'll talk about that after this play. I
Yeah.
just absolutely love plays like this. They
I do
ran
too. Yeah.
another sprint kind of play concept on their own end zone and run it into
Mhm.
the Jags end zone here. And let's just see how they react. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the linebacker number 48, Muma, kind of holds there a little bit. The Jaguars flowed pretty well to this. It wasn't wide open like you sometimes see. I don't know if those remember the Carlos Hyde play against the Patriots where he dropped a wide open one like
Oh
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I do
That's what
remember
I
that.
kind
That's
of had
funny.
flashback to.
I do remember that. That's a funny. It's a funny.
Yeah,
I completely
that's just
forgot
a
about
great
that until you
design.
said. Yeah.
It holds the
Let's go
defense
back.
for just a split second. We'll take another look at it here. And I love the quick snap too, because that adds just a little bit more hesitation to everything. The quick snap
Design.
is honestly something that should be utilized more in the NFL. Quick snap or either quick snap or motion. You don't need to just stand. You only need to just stand around and then snap the ball if you're not going to tag anything with it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree with that. All right. Let's go on. You posted some clips. Do you want to just? I can go to your Twitter. We can pull up those clips if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Let
normally
me
at
do that.
yeah. Mhm. So
Instead
if
of
we just
going through every play, we could kind of just more so go through the highlights. Um,
yeah. Oh
let's.
yeah. We can definitely talk about the Bobby Slowick duplicate plays. That was something I have never seen in my life. Honestly, basically what happened, guys, is Bobby Slowick
Yeah, here we go.
ran three play concepts twice, multiple times. So here, this is a great design. And look at that. You get a little jet wheel concept with a pivot. Make it turns into a post wheel. You also have Nico Collins if you want.
Oh,
I
here I
really
can
like
slow
the
it.
play design,
Let's.
and I was that's why I initially said, yeah, we can slow it down. I really like the play design, but this is the NFL. Can't run things twice. But you also can't look at this play and say it's not on that play design. Look at how Diggs holds the middle of the field right there. But also Schultz just settles in the zone. That's just super smart decision by him. Great timing by CJ Stroud. You also have it's essentially a three-level read, even though Schultz and Diggs are kind of close, but obviously you have Nico Collins. I don't remember what down this play was on, but obviously you have Nico Collins. And then also you have a whole shot to Robert Woods on the right for whatever reason. If you
Yep.
see if you play it. Yeah.
Yeah. You can
Yeah,
definitely put
actually
that
you
into
do. Look at
Woods.
that. But obviously I don't have the end zone view here, but I believe Tunsil got beat pretty badly.
That was Fisher. Yeah, Fisher came in. That was
Fisher, sorry, yeah, yeah, it was Fisher. But
yeah,
again,
he gets beat. Yeah, here we can watch that because
this is a great reason why we don't want um, Tunsil to be out. Look, I like Josh Allen a lot, but that's like one of the reps that you don't ever want to see because it's just so
yeah,
embarrassing.
no, it's a horrible rep. And then
We'll just, yeah.
this
This
is the
was
exact same.
the first third down of the second
Yeah,
half.
at a halftime. Yeah, yeah,
About halftime, the Jaguars get to look at film during halftime after the
yeah,
that other drive, and they run the same play and they just call man coverage. They could have, who knows? We don't know exactly what they did, but they could have said if we see this formation again or that motion again, you're going to play man coverage, match coverage, whatever. And that's
yeah.
exactly what they did, and they shut it down. Nothing is open on this play at all.
No,
Pivot right, not really open. Nico kind of slips. Diggs isn't really a route that's going to ever be opening its man because it's an occupy route. As you
Mm.
can see, he occupies two guys essentially. And then I just don't see Schultz ever being a man beater. I don't
No,
really
he's
ever see
not.
him being
Yeah,
a
he's not.
separator. I could have seen Brevin Jordan being a separator, but he's not on the team anymore. He's injured, unfortunately. And
No.
so if can we actually go to the pre-snap and let's see if see what the coverage looks like pre-snap. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily look like man coverage until they shift over, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's a jet motion. You're not gonna stop what you're doing and change the play. So that's kind of the other thing.
Um, yeah, but like you said, like you don't even throw any other wrinkles in there. It's the exact same play call. So, um,
Yeah.
and it's very first third down at a half. It's just a bizarre, bizarre call.
And
And then
then and then this very good play call.
yeah,
Play action, slant bubble. They think that Diggs is gonna block for the bubble to Nico.
slow it
Look,
down a
see,
little
he
bit.
goes out there with his hands like that, and then he slants in 20-yard gain. Great design by Bobby Slowick. No one's going to disagree with that whatsoever. You can see the Jags trigger on the bubble, but guess what they get to do after this play? They get to
What?
go and watch
Yeah.
the film, and their coach gets to tell them to pay attention, read your keys, not what the player's doing.
No. And then
We need the same thing versus zone coverage, essentially. Yeah, it's zone coverage. But that guy's going to be more patient and see what Diggs is doing. And guess what happens on this play? A penalty.
no.
Lineman, a lineman is look look how far upfield the lineman goes here. Yeah, it's inexcusable. And
Yeah,
also,
where is who is that?
I also don't
It's
know. Is that
Kendrick. It's Kendrick. Is it? I think it is. 50. No, that is Kendrick Green. Yeah, he came in for like a couple snaps and he just goes completely upfield. I mean, he's a good like 10 yards upfield.
I didn't know it was that bad. I just remember there being no.
I mean, he's at the logo. What what is he doing?
Oh
Oh
no.
Jesus. He sees the ball and drops.
I wonder what was he
I don't
thinking
know what he's
after
doing.
Stroud threw the ball? He's like, "Oh, my bad, my bad."
Yeah, yeah. But like I don't know what he's doing because he looks back and sees the ball is still with Stroud and he's just going upfield. I don't know. But like you said, it's the exact same concept. So
Same
I
concept. And
don't
then
know.
Stroud doesn't check it down to Dare, who's open
Yeah,
for
I
like
believe
20
this was third
yards.
down. So yeah, I mean,
Or
well, actually,
sorry,
I
KJ
think that's
Taylor.
JJ Taylor. Yeah,
JJ
yeah,
Taylor, he's gonna get a bunch of yards out of that. He,
yeah.
but of course, I think
I mean,
Kendrick
they had a screen to him
easily.
set up. We maybe can go over. They had a screen set up to Taylor. Boy, that had a lot of room, and he just didn't catch it. Um, so that was
And
unfortunate
then
because I like Taylor in space a lot.
if you go to the quote tweet of this tweet, there should be this other run concept. Okay, yeah, it's just gonna be right. Go back. Yeah.
This one right
Yeah.
here. Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Oh yeah, I
So
hated this.
this is a kind of a new concept where you have Nico cracking, I know, another skill position player on a defensive lineman, but it's just supposed to be a crack block. But the problem is you're easily able to offset it if you just get hands on the tackle, because the tackle is the one who's supposed to get out in space
Yep.
and be the lead blocker. And so this is the first time they ran it.
Let's see if
And,
I
I can
can.
understand that it may not go all very well. Also,
Mhm.
or is this the play where you or Akers also misses the hole? Yeah, potentially Akers missed the
Yeah,
hole,
yeah.
but people were screenshotting that, and I still kind of disagree. You can screenshot things all you want, but when was, we can try to pause it for y'all.
I mean, because like the problem is that if he tries to go upfield, you got Trayvon Walker coming across. So
I mean, do you think that like Trayvon, whoever the defensive end is, can't just jump at his legs and get him before he cuts? I mean, like we said, he doesn't have insane. He has a smooth burst, smooth
yeah,
cuts, but I'm not so sure he's not going to get caught there.
yeah,
So maybe early on, what you could say to your running back is, hey, this is going to be a tackle lead design, but if the Jaguars are flowing to there,
then you cut
you
back.
should immediately know that you can cut back because look at what Mason's doing. He's just sealing off that area. So
Hmm.
you could maybe next time in the film room run this play back.
Yeah,
This play could see again. We could see this play again
yeah.
because
And
Mixon
honest,
didn't get to yet.
yeah,
So
that's what I
we'll
was
see.
gonna say. I think if this is a different running back, it's probably a little bit different because I do trust Mixon to at least like if Trayvon Walker comes across to maybe make him miss. The problem is that I haven't seen Akers make a ton of guys miss in space. He more so just kind of tries to out angle them instead of like
Yeah.
if the guy has an angle on him, he's not going to make him miss. And especially like a great run defender like Trayvon Walker, he's going to get tackled here. But if it's Mixon or even Pierce, like Pierce is going to very obviously turn this upfield. He's like, it's what he does. So if he sees that room, he's going to do it. And, it actually may work in this situation. So um, here, we can
Yeah.
watch this one
And the
again.
next time they ran it, okay, so this is the first play out
Yeah,
of
at
half.
halftime.
So this is what they did on the first drive out of halftime. Duplicate play and then incomplete
Yeah,
pass. Or
crack
I,
block.
I
Yeah.
can
I think this
do
was the very first. This was first down, right? And then they
yeah.
go,
So
I don't know
that's
what
the
they did on the
first
second.
play.
And then
The
third
second
down
down
was the,
play is a big hit by the Jags on a stick route to Diggs that got
oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
dropped. So then on the next play, they ran another duplicate play. So I don't really know how that gets in your head that you think you can do that out of halftime. Yes, you want to correct it. Yes, you want to see if it works.
Yeah,
But
but wait. Yeah.
man, this was not a blowout game. This was not clearly not a game where you're winning by 20 and just want to go mess around. To me, that's Bobby Slowick wanting to mess around and get cute and try to see if it works. That's not something you should do out of halftime.
No, I agree. Um, JJ Taylor does actually, I appreciate the hurdle attempt, he's
Yeah,
trying. He's trying.
absolutely.
No, yeah, I'm a pretty big JJ Taylor fan. I like him. Um, I think I like him more than Akers, if you want to know the truth. I think there's more explosiveness there. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if either of them will be active because I think when Pearson Mixon are back, then the two running backs with Dare. But um, I think Jacksonville showed you why Akers is not necessarily the guy for this team, and Taylor might honestly, if they are in the same situation this week, where I don't think they're going to, but if they're in the same situation without Pearson Mixon, you may go to JJ Taylor more um, and Dare. So just kind of something that I noticed from the game.
Essentially solidified himself as the third down back.
For sure. All right. Yeah, and then let's go to this.
Yeah, just absolutely beautiful play call. And yeah, a double shift. Basically, the play started in kind of like a bunch formation, then they're going to go to a deuce formation there, and then you're going to get a jet motion from the tight end, a cut block, and a chip block. The cut is from Akers, I want to say,
I think it's
and then
from cut is from Akers, and then
Akers, and then
Brooks gets
British
up on
Brooks is
the
kind of
yeah.
going to chip. Ventrell Miller, which didn't really matter, but he's still able to find space because Ventrell Miller, for whatever reason, thinks he can, get back into the curl flat area. But so many options. I think Stroud might even have a lane to scramble. Yeah.
Yeah, he
If
could run with
this is at
that.
the
Yeah.
1 yard line, so very important that he could scramble, he could check it down, and also look at this timing to Nico Collins. Ball's going to be right at the head turn. Yeah, pretty much at the head turn, and relatively tight window. Not a super easy throw to make. Yeah, I gotta have some velocity, and the ball placement was I would say a friendly ball. Like, Diggs said he throws such a friendly ball. That's that's what I would say right here.
You
Because you
know,
can't throw it too high. I don't feel like you can.
I'll say it, some type of look. John Gruden would love this play call right here. Little spider two wide banana type concept. Same type of idea. Um, but it's pretty effective in this type of short yardage situations like that. So,
Yeah. You can run
um,
that on either goal line. You can run this on fourth down, run this on third and short. You can run this from anywhere on the field, and especially when your protection isn't necessarily holding up. In the Texans case, that was kind of true in the first half. But I love it. I love the aggressiveness
yeah,
from
yeah,
your
yeah,
own 1 yard. That's the coolest thing. And they did that last year too. I remember they ran some plays out of empty from the 1 yard line, which I'm a big proponent of because I think it's so easy to stop the run as a defense
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're facing a team in their own end zone. I think it's just so
Yep.
easy to key in on the run, and that's the Jags didn't key in on the run here. It's just a great play design.
Yep. I mean, and we can just looking at this preseason too. You ran stick nod pretty much out of your end zone. Um, like I think we were an empty, right? But if you can hold up in pass protection, you
Yeah.
can do that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
definitely one that Sloak's not afraid to get aggressive out of his own end zone. So good to see.
It's cool. And then
He
also the Texans offense was shut down or they had to punt after a bunch of penalties. And they had some really good drives and they're just punting the
they
ball
did,
away.
they did.
So if you really think about that, like the Texans offense was efficient,
Yep.
they were consistent, but they were not efficient in terms of penalties. Like that just can't happen. And some of the penalties did not affect the outcome of the play. Simple as that. And so that makes me really excited to watch the offense against the Bills. I'm not scared of the Bills secondary. They're without Von
Oh,
Miller
I'm not
now.
either. Yeah.
Really think Joe Mixon impacts this team a little bit more than I thought he did. Just from a player standpoint, like, scheme can only take you so far. I feel like, well, Joe Mixon really just is that guy. And at this point, we could say that a running back does have an impact on a team.
Oh, 100%. I just want to highlight this. You can go over some plays too, but this was one that I don't hate the idea, but this is just a bad or poorly
Um,
executed play
the
too,
idea. I love
because
the idea.
it's a cool idea, but the problem is it takes way too long, and partly because Stroud floats it a ton, but he can't really throw it on a line because you got Josh Allen right there. It's just
That's
kind of
a great job by
and
Josh
you
Allen,
yeah,
I think.
yeah. Josh Allen kind of blows it up, so that's why it's tough. But I like the idea. That
If
was kind of what I was saying. I
AFC
like the idea, not executed very well.
if Josh
Um,
Allen's not there and the ball's thrown more
yeah,
inside
that
and
you
on
have it.
rope, Tunsil's there. Tunsil is going to get on that defensive back. There's actually a double team on that guy, and then Robert Woods can level up to the next guy, the third level, the safety.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and usually you'll just get a defensive end running upfield or like coming inside. But Josh Allen just
Josh Allen's
absolutely
a
great
really
player.
damn good player, man.
Yeah,
he's really good. I mean, there's not much else
get
you
him
can
at
say about that. He's
Jacksonville.
very good. He
When is
and
his contract up?
he's been a pain in our ass for multiple years now. So,
He is
um,
the T.Y. Hilton of defense
yeah,
for the Texans. I
yeah, no.
feel
I
like.
mean, and even if I mean, we got an elite left tackle, and especially in pass pro, and he's one of the guys that can get Tunsil or so often. So
Absolutely.
he's just a very impressive player. Um, any other plays? I know you haven't really gone. We went over the ones that you posted. I posted some
Oh
of them. We
yeah,
can maybe go over those.
I have like two more drives to watch, but we can if you go do one more. I will look through my notes and I'll find one.
Let me go. I'll go through. Here, let's go through some defense. Posted a
Okay, yeah.
couple of
I was
defensive
thinking,
clips.
there was this really nice play from Henry Toa and Khalil Davis. I forgot to post about that. I
All
can just
good, no worries.
yeah, I'll
I
post
really
that
like
right
this
now.
play.
You can watch it.
This was the first third down or second third down, maybe. I don't know if they actually got the third down on this, but this is the very first drive. You get you get the both linebackers coming, but honestly, the linebackers have maybe been the most consistent part of the defense. They've been very good. I mean, this actually takes ETN out of the game. Toa
That blitz.
completely blows them up, and then you get Aziz to get the hit on the quarterback. And I mean, Kirk's open, but you got no time. Um, you don't have enough time to really throw this ball accurately. You get hit while you're throwing, and it's a miss because you heat up the pocket. You get six. How many is that? Six coming at him, and I mean Aziz gets a straight hit on him. I mean, there's no one even to pick him up. So
It's funny. I'm looking at the comment that says just wait till we get Harris back, but I'm like, do we like what are we missing right now? I'm not really sure. I mean, I can we ask
I
for
think
much more from this linebacker
no,
core at
you
this
really
point?
can't, and which is why it's an interesting conversation because um, I mean, do you start Harris when he comes back? I do. I think you do. Personally, I like Harris more than Toa still because I think you get more of the coverage side from Harris, which I think is the one thing that they're lacking in the linebacker room, at least to me. Um, but Toa has played very well.
Toa, I mean, Harris made some really cool plays as a run defender late in the season, but Henry Toto is just so consistent that I
Yeah.
feel very comfortable with him on the field.
Yep.
We could argue give a linebacker a break every once in a while. You could have a coverage duo on third down for 100% of Harris and Aziz Al-Shaair. Texans could be more comfortable in dime packages too. We don't really know. So that's going to be really interesting to watch, but that's also why they're not rushing Harris back because he's had injury problems in the past too. They're
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
feeling
And
better
they don't
about
necessarily need
Henry
him right now.
To'oTo'o. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really need him, it doesn't feel like. Although I will say another thing that you could point out is that Harris being able to spy is a big thing too. To have if you go against a mobile quarterback like a Josh Allen, it would be nice to have him and have that speed be able to spy. But you know, I feel somewhat comfortable with with the Petrie either doing it or Toa or one of these guys
Yeah,
playing in
how
the
about this?
box is
Let's
fine.
try to get Harris back for December, for the Chiefs game, for the Ravens game. Let's try to get Harris back for then. I feel like that's when you can because Harris played good against the Ravens in the
Oh
playoff game.
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought so.
they
So
did.
let's worry about that. Let's not. I mean, obviously, people are saying Josh Allen spy on Josh Allen. Well, I'm not really sure the Texans are going to even spy on Josh Allen to begin with because they're going to feel really good about how they can cover the Bills receivers. So I'm interested to see the game plan there. And the rest of the schedule, I mean, I'm just really looking forward to the games against the good teams at this point.
For
So
sure.
The Patriots the week after.
Yep. You get Khalil Davis does a pretty good job here. Takes on that block. You let Aziz come down. Um, I thought Khalil Davis played pretty well again. Um,
This is the best game of the year.
my guy, my
All right.
guy. Unfortunately, they're playing Tim Settle over him, which I don't agree with. But you know, we can we can discuss that different time. My hope is that Anish actually gets involved a little bit more now that he's designated to return because I actually think Anish is a pretty good run defender, which
He's a
he can play
flashy
a role.
guy too. He'll make plays and you'll notice it as where Tim Settle, he's not really getting too much push. He's not really getting moved
Yeah,
around. And that could be by design, of course. But I just think Kurt Hinish is a little bit more extra to him. Where you'll be like, whoa, he really messed that dude up there as where I haven't seen. I didn't really see that from Tim Settle in Buffalo either.
for sure. And then here, these were some. This was the other angle of that play that we watched the throw to Schultz. But yeah, Fisher. I mean, Fisher gets not a great rep for him. I mean, it just completely blown by.
It's one that
Um,
goes straight on the highlight tape. I mean, really, it's just whew.
yeah, that's and then see this one was oh yeah, this was the stunt. Just very good creating out of pocket. We were out of the side of the pocket. We've seen that plenty of times now, but just
Yeah.
it's nice to see.
Yeah, I think early on, I think Sean McDermott's really going to try to take advantage of this. I mean, he's a defensive-minded head coach.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's absolutely aware of this, and so that's like,
The left side has to get better at passing off stunts because look, I'm not. I'll admit to you, I'm not the best offensive line guru. Like I'm not gonna tell you
yeah,
who's doing poorly, but I just watch Kenyon on the stunts and he never seems to either notice it or he gets completely blown backwards on them. So I
yeah, no,
and maybe it's not all
I
his fault, but I just am watching
exactly
it and
like
it's not great.
I just don't know. Like I didn't play offensive line. Like I don't
No,
know
I didn't
who's
either. Yeah.
responsibility here. So like, but it looks to me like you need to be stronger. You need to be more
Yeah.
aware.
I mean, we okay.
He's
Actually,
I've
here
seen
this
people absorb contact before. He's not absorbing the contact. He's getting moved around, and that's
here
concern.
this is this is I posted this. Some people weren't too happy about it, but I wasn't necessarily blaming one guy.
Yeah, because yeah,
Um,
like you said, you're not an offensive line coach. You're just kind
I
of
I
like showing what's going on here. Like,
I'm just showing because to me a lot of the stunts are all coming through at the same spot.
yeah,
So
why aren't they stunting
something's
Shaq
not going
Mason?
right. Because
Yeah,
to me, also you could say this when Fisher and Tunsil were both in the game, it still happened. So it's not a Tunsil being lazy problem, which is some people are kind of pointing to because it happened when Fisher was in too, and Fisher actually got hands on and then spun out of it on the last one we watched. So it's not necessarily a lazy issue. Kenyon's not doing a very good job of like absorbing the contact we were saying. And it's not all and it's some of it's stunts. It's not all stunts. He's getting pushed backwards in any contact. It's not it's just not good. I
we should
mean,
definitely
like I
yeah,
said,
because there's one clip
and
on here of the four clips where it's a one-on-one matchup, and he definitely
yeah,
clearly
I think
suits
there's
that.
two of them actually. We can watch, but
Yeah,
and even the I didn't necessarily blame Kenyon for all of them, but all I said in there, I just said there was four clips, and one of the guys was getting pushed backwards, whether it's his fault or not. There's one guy that's always in the backfield, and it's Kenyon. So something's not going right. But here we can start. This one I
let's just
believe
look at
is
the technique. Like, see, I already saw him duck his head, and it didn't really matter. But look at that. He, at the first initial engagement, his head goes down like this. So that's going to already kind of have you wondering what's going on. And then, of
yeah,
course, the stunt comes right at him. And I think from the other angle, it looks like that I saw Dare kind of gets in the way, and that can be confusing too. So this one, I was
yeah,
a little bit like, that's on everyone kind of thing.
yeah.
So this,
They didn't seem to communicate this very well because it doesn't even look like Kenyon sees him until he's completely on him, which I mean is not great. You kind of want to know it's coming, but also like you said, Dare's in the way. Tunsil tries to pass it off. I think he does kind of everything he can to pass it off, but there's not much in that situation you can do.
you
Um,
said Tunsil does a really good job there. That's I
yeah,
feel like like I said, don't know much but from a technique standpoint, that's what I would assume and probably
that's what you
want my
want. A
tackle to
hundred
do.
percent, 100%. He
So
complete.
yeah,
He sticks there, passes it off, and then yeah. I
and then
mean
he gets back to
that's
the
what
other
you.
guy. So like
Yeah,
Tunsil is passing it. You have to
so
pass
he's down.
stunts off. So I mean, you know,
Right, you can see it right here. He's passing it off. He got his eyes on this guy, but he does pass it off. Kenyon's like going the wrong way to me. He,
I'm okay to say
which
you have to square
because
up.
to me, when okay, and again, not an offensive line coach. I
Yeah.
could be wrong about this, and someone could correct me, which I'd be completely cool with. I had no problem with it. But to me, when you're the left guard and it's a 2v2, like you got two guys on each side, you kind of want to go to the side that only has a left tackle, not the side that's got three. You would you would think you would kind of look to Tunsil's side because you know you're outnumbered there. You don't necessarily want a running back to have to pick up the stunt. You would think you'd be looking that way, but he's turned the other way, and the stunt comes, and he's completely not looking at it. So, and maybe that's a scheme problem. I don't know. Again, I have no idea what they're being taught to pick it up, but something's not right because he
Yes,
shouldn't have to pick up a
it's not
stunt.
working.
He shouldn't have to pick up a stunt when the quarterback is like the quarterback. It, literally all Allen has to do is turn and he's out crowd because Kenyon's blocking the wrong way. So like he was never going to win that. So there's something fundamentally that's just wrong with this. And so I don't know if
Yeah,
again, I don't know if it's Kenyan or what, but here
yeah.
and then this one is just a straight up loss. Like this is why I was confused why people were so outraged by it because I mean, like no stunt here. He's just I mean
Well, looks like he just gets a right arm stab in his chest plate and he's getting moved back. Like that's what I'm talking about, the lack of balance, anchor, and power. He can't even counter it because he doesn't have enough strength in his legs.
it's unfortunate because every other offensive lineman actually like they protect this very well. This is Fisher one of Fisher's better reps. Not that it's great because she'll kind of gets a little bit of push, but look at the base he has. He actually does a good job of holding up there. Um,
Even got Titus Howard with a little hand counter there too. I mean, I love it.
there,
I
yeah,
love
and
look at
then
that.
you get Juice and Mason. Like they're all protecting this very
Mm,
well, except Kenyon. So
I
because
like it.
if Kenyon blocks this well, you could step up in this pocket but you can't because he gets pushed right into him. Stroud has to actually like push him away with his hand. So not great.
That's a straight up
Um
loss. No way around
yeah.
it.
I mean and look, and I'm
That's a
not necessarily
completion. It's a
yeah,
completion.
and then it's actually Dara ends up getting
Yeah,
called for
darn.
the hold. But still it's just kind of goes to show that the offense is talented enough and Stroud, Nico, Diggs, these guys are talented enough to make up for mistakes on the front like that. But if they want to be an elite offense, they've got to clean that type of stuff up because it can't happen. I mean, look, you can lose, but you can't lose because you have no back. I mean, he didn't even ever have a shot on this play. As soon as the guy threw the stab, he lost. I mean, so it was just and it's just, and I talked about it here because honestly, it's one of the things that I picked up from you when we were watching, and I thought you were right, is that he just ducks his head way too much and he loses balance and he's getting pushed completely backwards. Let's go to this one. This one is again, he just doesn't. I, I don't know.
I
Look,
really think it's a power thing.
I
Look
agree
at
with you
how
because
he
I think
loses
again.
balance
Oh,
there.
this was actually the play that we watched before, the one that he makes Allen miss because we were watching it earlier. But again, Fisher kind of does, and honestly, Fisher does more than you would want him to do. I think because he has to completely spin to get back. Daria actually
Great
kind of saves
recovery
it.
by Fisher there.
Yeah, like this is an impressive rep from Fisher, but Kenyon either doesn't see it coming or just has no power because he's bigger. That's what's weird. He's a big enough guy to have the power, but like fundamentally, he just doesn't have the footwork or the I don't know what the issue is, but
This is almost like a
he
Deshaun Watson kind of thing. He just wasn't playing enough football. He
yeah
just wasn't playing enough football, and he didn't get to, have moments like this to
yeah.
generate the
And
power to get used to the gameplay.
I'm not saying bench him, which I think people kind of I posted something else about him and I said maybe it's time to consider Kendrick. And I wasn't necessarily saying yet. I just was saying that I think you do have to at some point, if he can't pick up a stunt, you have to consider someone else. Because no matter what he brings you, if he can't pick up basic contact because he doesn't have any power, then he's never going to play guard successfully. Um, So at least to me, it honestly it kind of reminds me of why Titus Howard struggles at guard because he doesn't have power. Um, Titus like they've tried Titus at left guard like three different times, and he just doesn't have the power to play the position. And it's the same thing you see with Kenyon. He doesn't have the power to match up to these defensive tackles that are coming at him. And even this is Josh Allen coming. I think it is. He just runs right through him. It's twice now that he just runs right through him. Again, I don't know what the idea is. I don't know what they're being taught because I have no idea what the offensive line is supposed to do on stunts. I couldn't tell you. But
Just
I
feels like
think
the
Kenyon
Jags are
Green should
being
be able to tell
told
you.
to, yeah, Jags are being told to just get in the Kenyon Green's chest, and he's gonna
Yeah.
get knocked back no matter what. Doesn't matter who it is.
Again, he's just angled the wrong way, too. You're never going to, if a guy comes straight at you and he's trying to come that way, you're lined up like that, it's probably not going to go well. It's just like leverage play. It's not, you're not going to be able to pick that up very often. So it's fundamentals and it's no power. And then this one is another 1v1 rep where he just loses. I mean, he just pushed right backwards into him. And Tunsil doesn't do a good job either. Um, and maybe it's a stunt. I don't, it is, I mean, it is a stunt, but Kenyon loses one on
I
one.
felt that this one Tunsil did him a little bit dirty. Just
Yeah.
this is a great
Yeah, it
job. I
doesn't.
love the design by the defensive line there because you're really making the Texans think and not allowing them to get into place, get set up, get ready to generate power. You're kind of just waiting. You never want to catch a block, essentially, because they're going to be
Yeah.
able to do stuff like that.
Yep. And here, that's all the clips that I had posted, but we can go to PFF and they have the pressure stuff posted. Or just we can go through the offensive line in general from their grades, but just from what you can see, the offensive line as a whole, like they've not been great, but they've been fairly average, except Kenyon. And I don't know how much
It
stock
clearly
you
is
want
an
to put into
outlier.
PFF. I don't know how much stock you want to put into PFF. I know some people like it, some people don't like it. I think overall for the trenches, it's pretty good. I think they do a pretty decent job. And all of them are pretty average. Tunsil's actually, if you can look at Tunsil's grades, he's been elite in blocking. They just take off a ton for the penalties, so which
Oh, that's how that
it's
works?
pretty fair.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, against Minnesota here, I can actually show you that because I thought it was. I've never seen anything like it. Um, Here against Minnesota, I think he was 90 plus in both blocking, but he had a 60 overall grade because of the penalties. Um,
Because
let's see.
honestly,
Okay, so
that's
here,
like kind of how you would just
91.4
yeah.
pass blocking and 66, and he had a 52 because his
It was
penalties,
six penalties. Yeah.
big up big six penalties, it doesn't matter. So that's what I'm saying. I think they do a good job with the trenches personally.
I just don't like it for defensive backs, honestly.
Defensive back, it's awful. It's horrible. It really is. It really is for defensive. I mean, I completely agree with that. I'm just and for the most part, you can at least use it to tell trends. Is kind of a thing that I like to do. Is where if all the guys on the front grade out well except one dude, it's probably that guy's fault. Even if you don't necessarily agree with the grades, it's probably on him. Another thing that I say, Folo is way too low. Folo's
Yeah,
played pretty
I
well.
was about to say, what does it actually say 35?
They have not liked Folu, which is a little bit weird. I thought Folu's played pretty well, but um,
Oh my
they
God.
have not liked him. But no, I think Kenyon's been pretty poor outside of the very first game. Um, we can look at it from a um, let's see, from just a game
The
to
grade
game
wasn't very
perspective.
good. Yeah, no. It was
Here,
very good.
here, you can always customize, I think. So here, this should show. Um, yeah, so he did well week one, 74. And then since then, 56. Actually, this was his highest week for pass blocking. He had a 40 and a 32. And then his run blocking has not been good, according to their grades. I don't know. I couldn't,
Looks like
again,
the
not an
Jacksonville
offensive
game,
line
it's
grade.
really low. Yeah.
Yeah. So just not playing very well. And the thing is, they have options on the front if they want to switch. You could always go Jarrett Patterson at guard. You could go Kendrick Green at guard too. So hopefully Kendrick Green doesn't go 10 yards upfield when he's actually playing. But uh, but there's options for sure. I whether you want to whoever you want to blame for the stunts and stuff, he still just doesn't have good enough power. Um, it, maybe you
Gonna
can
blame
blame some of the.
Tunsil. I mean, so kind of leaves odd man out here.
Mhm.
And let's blame the offensive line coach for now because it's just really, really disappointing.
No, it is. Yeah, 100%. It's a fundamental issue too. It's not. It's. Kenyon's had good games, right? Like he played well against Indy. He played well in the preseason. A lot of it is, I think, he's reverting backwards to kind of what he did his rookie year. But again, that kind of falls on coaching too, because you want your guys, you coach your guys to be able
But look, yeah,
to stick to their fundamentals. So
absolutely.
hopefully he bounces back. Again, I'm not advocating for him to get benched. I'm just kind of if he gets attacked again, then you consider it, I think, because you can't roll out a guy who can't pass protect. With how the offensive line as a whole is played, there's better options. And, like I talked about, Juice has been pretty good for this team. He's actually the third best pass blocking center.
That's good.
Um, yeah, he's been really good. I mean, I've been very impressed. I won't even lie to you. I was not the biggest Juice Scruggs believer either. I didn't think he was as bad as Kenyon. I liked him more than Kenyon, but I was not the biggest believer. But he's been very consistent. Um, I mean, he hasn't had a game lower than 71 in pass blocking. Gonna had 76 this week. He's allowed, let's see, four pressures as a whole. It's pretty good in 3 games. You'll take four pressures in 3 games for sure. He's had two penalties. Not the end of the world, I don't think. But as a whole, he's been better than last year and he's taken steps. So, if he keeps playing well, that's awesome. Like I said, I think center is a tough position to find, honestly, in the NFL. Now, center is very important. So if the Texans can, if he's your center of the future, that's awesome. Um, and I think he's proving right now that he is. So at least in the interior, I feel confident in one guy right now. Mason, he's inconsistent, but I somewhat can trust Mason to be okay. Kenyon is just kind of up in the air. I don't know what you're going to get from him from week to week. So
You really don't.
it'll be an interesting watch for sure. I'm interested to see this week how
Yeah,
he
that's the
plays.
only thing I'm going to look for because I mean, look, the offense was just operating so well, but they're
You know,
derailed by
penalties and
penalties. They're derailed by plays where the offensive line,
yeah, it's just and
messed up
it's
on stunts, whatever. Run blocking was meh. Obviously, the no run game hurts, but the passing offense, when it was on, it was on.
yeah, and this is something that I wanted to point out because I was looking, just kind of scrolling through stats earlier. I thought it was interesting that so they have a stat, let's see, passing offense. They have a stat that is time to pressure against, right? Um,
Yeah.
while the Texans are not that high in actual pressure rate, their time to pressure against is top five. They're not good. Like they let guys, that's the issue to me is a lot of guys are necessarily, they're not losing one-on-ones. They're just letting guys come in free um, or not even making real contact because they can't pick up stunts. If a lot of times when the Texans just straight up have a 1v1 with their guy, they're fine. They've done perfectly fine with that. But they struggle at picking up basic concepts on the front. So that's to me seems like a coaching problem, and maybe I'm wrong. But to me, it seems like at this point in the season, if you can't figure out how to pick up a stunt, that's an issue. So either bench Kenyon if he can't figure it out, or it's on the coach. So someone's got to take the blame for it if you can't figure it out. It's up to y'all who you want to decide takes the blame for it, but it can't just be that we're working it out at this point. You've played 4 games now, and it's been the same issue in every game. So
I mean, it's really the number one thing to look for. It's going to determine win or loss pretty much every game this year because the offense is so talented. The defense can make plays pretty much whenever they want. And also, let's say this, D'Amico Ryans when he decides to dial it up, the defense just looks a lot better. I mean, I don't really understand the, concept of blitzing more one game than the other when it works. It literally works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Uh, and I think that he does a really good job with the designs on blitzes. Like you showed that one. It's kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs where you got linebacker coming in and they got another twist, stunt action, delay blitz off of that, which it
yeah,
just looks really, really good. And so it's definitely a winnable game versus the Bills,
I
but
think
it
so
just
too.
comes down
Yeah,
to the offensive line. That's
yeah.
what it's going to come down to.
And honestly, from what I've seen from D'Amico, and I've had my complaints, but I will say he seems to always have a better game plan against better quarterbacks. I couldn't explain to you why they go so soft against bad quarterbacks, but we've seen it against Lamar and Burrow and other guys. They've actually played up to competition on defense where they go after these type of quarterbacks more. So we'll see. Uh, you know, while I'm not necessarily, I posted the stat about the slots. I think it's kind of misleading. I don't think they've defended slot receivers as well as those stats maybe show. But you got Shakir in the slot this week. He's their best receiver. So I would like to see kind of a game plan in there. And I talked about it in a group chat and we clowned about it. But bracket Shakir and play man. That should be the game plan. They're not going to do it. I know they're not going to do it. But like that would be the ideal game plan is you put two on Shakir and then just let Keon Coleman go one-on-one with either of these guys and let Vela Scantling. It's never going to happen.
It's just Joe Brady versus D'Amico Ryans is what it's
It
going to come
is, yeah.
down to. I mean, Josh Allen can make every single throw, so take it away. Play better
Yeah.
coverage, cause problems. Find Shakir's weakness. Like maybe if you get a guy to press him at the line of scrimmage, offset him. if you're able to offset these, kind of concepts that the Bills are going to run, they do a really good job of manipulating coverage. So
Hmm.
you can't just,
Because
bail out into zone coverage. You got to mix
oh
it up.
no,
You got to have
100%.
blitz.
No, no, no.
So
You do.
you're right. It's going to be a little concerning if they're just dropping into zone coverage because we know what the Bills have done so far. We know Joe Brady
Yeah.
can use that to his advantage.
I mean, we can talk about, like I think Josh Allen's amazing. I think most people think he's amazing because he is, right? But he's not, he is prone to mistakes. He will make mistakes. Like he's not the most clean quarterback. So but you can't just sit back and let him, throw 8-yard free release outs because that's what they've done the last 2 weeks pretty much. Um, and it's a little bit different when you're playing Trevor Lawrence and Sam Darnold, but when you're playing Josh Allen, he'll take that every time and you don't force them to make mistakes, and it's just um, not going to work for you. So, and as a whole, you can just watch the Bills' offense. They're not the most talented passing offense outside of Josh Allen. I mean, they're not. James Cook's very good running back. They can run the ball, but their three receivers are Shakir, Valdez Scantling, and Keon Coleman. Not a great group. And then Kincaid's been disappointing, at least to me. I thought he was going to be better. He hasn't played that well. Um, so you know that they're going to run the ball with Cook and Allen. So stop. You got to be able to stop the run and just go after Allen. Make him make. Not saying he can't make throws, but make him make tough throws. Make him make throws down the field. Make him, um, you know, throw the ball in the tight windows. He can do it. I know he can do it, but maybe the receivers aren't going to create separation. You can man blitz them. You can do a lot of things like that. Josh Allen's amazing. He's going to make some plays where defense had you beat. Defense should have gotten off the field on 3rd and 8, and he somehow made a play. It happens, but um, you have to have an actual game plan this week. It can't just be send four
Exactly.
and sit back. So that's what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, they're not going to, more than likely, they're not going to face the Sam Darnolds of the worlds in the playoffs. They're going to have to go against these type of quarterbacks. So it is interesting to see how they game plan for it because
Did you just
you're
say the
going to,
Sam Darnolds of the world as in like MVP candidate Sam Darnold?
you know what I mean? Like and Sam Darnold's played very well. He's played very well, but you're not playing. More likely in the AFC, especially, you're playing mobile quarterbacks. It's kind of what I was more leaning towards. You're playing guys that can beat you with their legs as well, and have these huge arms that can throw the ball. And Darnold, not saying he can't, but he didn't make any real big throws against the Texans. It was a lot of free releases. It was a lot of easy throws, and he's played very well. Like I said, KOC is a great offensive coach. I know that. Don't mean to disrespect Sam Darnold at all. He's played very well. I just more so mean, you get Allen, you get Lamar, you get Mahomes, you get these guys. You're gonna have to game plan against those type of quarterbacks. Where against Minnesota, I think you're more so game planning against their weapons. At least to me, you're game planning more against Jefferson and those guys. Where against Buffalo, you're clearly game planning against Josh Allen. It's not Shakir, it's not James Cook, it's Josh Allen. Um, so that's just kind of my thought process on the game. It should be a fun one though. I think this is a huge win or a huge game just because if you're able to win, no matter how you win, if you win this game, it's a huge win. Buffalo is a very good team. I don't care what happened against Baltimore. They're a very good team.
Yeah, this game's about like the performance, not the result. I think
100%.
if
Yeah.
the Texans lose by 17, it's like, oh God, they got whooped by the Vikings, they got whooped
Yeah.
by the Bills. Are they ever going to be the good team? No, we don't know.
All I
So
want, man, is
it's
just
got to be a good, hard fought game. No penalties,
that's
good run
exactly what I was
game.
going to say. Yeah.
If the run game comes back and there's no penalties, great. I'm super confident, feel good about
Yep.
that. A lot of people have expectations, high expectations for the Texans, but I'm on the other side. I don't really see those expectations because I can't really see the end result right now. We don't know what the end result's going to be like because
Nope.
the product doesn't look very good right now. So I'm just
No, it
intrigued
doesn't.
how the product looks on Sunday. We'll see what the given situations are with injuries and how the offensive line plays and penalties, but that'll be interesting to watch.
And we can talk about it. I agree the product hasn't looked very good, but they're 3-1 because they're very talented.
Yeah,
So, I mean, if they fix these issues, and they're not that hard of issues to fix, that's why it's frustrating. They're issues that are very fixable. It's stupid penalties on the offensive line. It's special teams mistakes, which Frank Ross has never done here. They've never had this type of problems on special teams where they week one punt block, that leads to a touchdown. This week, you get Steven Sims dropping a punt. First of all, Steven Sims should be cut. That should be a statement that should be made right now to this team. I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative about this team. I was negative early in the episode. He should be cut because look, I wouldn't have said cut him after the drop punt because I get it. After the 15-yarder, he should have been sent right to the locker room. That was the stupidest thing. Like he was talking like he returned a kick when he gave Jacksonville 7 points. So it's stupid mistakes like that that you cannot have if you want to be a good team. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. But you could also look at it as Baltimore has had the same type of penalty problems as we have. And they're very good. And we know Baltimore's good. It's week 4. It's fixable right now. But this is a huge game. If you can fix those penalty issues, if you can keep it under 6 penalties, which is still not a great amount, but you can keep it under 7, 8-ish penalties, you
Yeah, that's
can
fine. That's
win.
fine. Yeah, get a
You
lower
can
just a
win.
little bit. We'll
I mean,
work our way to the
I'm not
three
asking for a
penalties
zero
this year.
penalty game, right?
Yeah,
I'm not asking for
exactly.
that. I'm just asking for better. And I thought, honestly, this game, the penalties were better. Not that it was still bad, but it was better than look, I would rather have the holding penalties than the false start penalties because at least the holding penalties, some of them, like you said, one of them probably could have been on Stroud. The illegal man downfield, just fucking stupid. You should not have those issues this week. Easy fix. Don't go downfield. Stroud us get rid of the ball. It's not a hard fix. They fix the false start penalties for the most part, which is good. They're at least making some bit of progress in that. Um, but if you can put it together against Buffalo, you get Mixon back. You can run the ball a little bit. You get Tank back. Anish maybe back. This is a very winnable game, and it could be a huge win to see them progress because you get New England after this, and New England is not a very. I mean, we lose to some bad teams. I've seen it happen, but New England's not a very good team. You could win this one and go 5-1 into the Green Bay game, which is a big game too. Like it's a very, you know, my whole point is I think even though they haven't looked great, nobody would have come into the season complaining if they would have started 3-1. It's just what I'm thinking, at least to myself, is I think 3-1 is kind of what people expected. So you got to clean up these mistakes, but they're a very talented team. You can see it.
The only other thing I can think of is hopefully there's not too many Buffalo fans.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna
I saw a
happen.
picture of the crowd against Jacksonville and was not looking very good. I
Yeah.
guarantee you all those
Yeah,
empty
Buffalo's
seats
gonna
from
show up.
last
Yeah.
week will be filled with blue and not deep steel blue. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Buffalo fans, I think.
Um,
Um, yeah, but again, I mean, this is a huge game for the Texans, and you're wearing the H Town blue. Hopefully, fans show up, right? I mean, I look, I showed up for the Chicago game. You sit in traffic. I get it, but go to the game, man. Go like it's a good experience. It's fun, especially if you have tickets. Go there early, okay? I don't know how many people watching are going to have tickets, but go like you're going to sit in traffic, so just get there early. You can tailgate whatever you want to do, but don't get there 30 minutes after kickoff. Just get in there early. I mean, Drew, you go to the games, you can be out there early. I mean,
it's much better to
it's
get there.
it's fun.
Much
Oh,
better.
100% it is. 100%. So it's just, little gripe that I have with the fan base, but um, I get it. There's a lot of
It
Houston
affects the
traffic.
energy of the team, really. And because
It
the
does.
important
Yeah,
thing
it
for
does.
this game overall will be how the Texans start. If they start
Yep.
fast, they'll be fine. But I don't think they're going to be able to come back from behind. I think the Bills play very, very solid and clean football when they're up and they're able to control the game with the run game. They're able to still make special plays when they need to.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. They have to. I mean, and I thought this meeting in Jacksonville kind of showed that. They started pretty fast, but the Steven Sims drop punt that led to 7 kind of killed the momentum that you had. You got a good stop, and they would have gotten up 7-0 early in the game, and that happened. So it just you can't have mistakes that kill you like that. I get penalties are going to happen. I get stuff's going to happen, but you cannot. And I'm frustrated that D'Amico keeps saying the ugly wins thing. It's frustrating that he keeps commenting on that because it's every week at this point. But he's not necessarily wrong. They're shooting themselves in the foot every week, and it's on him to fix it because he's the coach. But he's not wrong about themselves shooting themselves in the foot because it's happened every game. Um, it's the reason it was close against Indy. They played much better than Indy did, but they shot themselves in the foot multiple times, and they did it against Chicago too. So you got to have, you got to both. I'm coaching on both sides has to be better too. Slowick got too cute sometimes against Jacksonville, like we said. He's very good at designing plays. The problem that I have with him right now is that he doesn't know when to use them a lot of the time, and he doesn't
Seems that way, yeah.
understand. So it's he's still a new play caller. I can understand adjustments, like it's going to happen, but you want to see that, and D'Amico's got to be more aggressive, in my opinion, in this game. You got to go more aggressively at Josh Allen. You got to make him make the throws that you know he can make, but try to force some mistakes. Anything else you want to add, Drew?
I think you hit on the nail right there. I think the Texans just need to adjust and get in rhythm, stay in rhythm, and I think they'll be just fine. They're a talented team that can beat anyone.
Exactly, for sure. I mean, I think as you look top to bottom, they maybe are more talented than Buffalo. Um,
Yeah, they are. They are.
so, and you look, you got a top five quarterback now. You can go win any of these games. You got maybe one of the top three best receivers in the league. Like you have the plenty of talent. Stephon Diggs is going to be angry for this game. He's going to want to go out there, light it up. Um, and I think he's going to play well. He's been very good for this Texans team, like I said. So, um, and I'll tell you what, if they need some type of momentum, like he's going to be fired up from the very beginning of the game. So if they go down early, that's the one dude that I guarantee you he'll be fired up. So,
Gonna see the clip on
uh,
Twitter.
yeah, for sure. But I don't mind it, man. I really don't mind that type of stuff. I
I
think you
love
got
it.
to have a guy like that. It's nice to have when one of your captains really gets involved and goes at guys. I like it. You got to have a guy like that, especially when it feels like D'Amico and Sloak are kind of laid back with how they coach in certain situations. Like I like having a player like that. So
Mhm.
um, I've really liked the Diggs through 4 games. I've really liked the Diggs experiment here. It's working well. He's been very good for this team. All
It's
right.
the
Anything
Stephon Diggs
else?
game. No, that's it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. We appreciate all the support y'all showed on this. We'll be back next week for the recap of the Buffalo game and previewing New England. Um, this will be a huge week. This is a week to kind of tell where the Texans are at. At least to me, I feel like the Minnesota game, a lot went wrong against a good team, but you can see it against Green Bay too. Like Minnesota's very, very good at football. I mean, that's a very good football team. So on the road, it was a tough game for sure. Stuff didn't go your way early. Sucks. You can clean up those mistakes and you can go beat Buffalo for sure. So it's a huge week, and I'm excited for this game. I know you're excited, Drew. Um, Hopefully y'all enjoyed this episode, and we'll see y'all next time.